Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch, episode number 19. I know this is going to be one of my personal favorites. We will be talking about the human soul and consciousness, one of my favorite topics. Yes, the creator. How are you doing, Loyal to the Foil?
I am good.
Hanging in
I'm
there?
here.
You're here?
Right.
You're hanging in there
I'm
today?
here.
What's going
Yes.
on, chat? It's great to see you guys. Busy all the time. Gifted the shades and said, "Sup, friends? Good to see you." Kanga Anon with the cookie. Have a great show. Be blessed. Thank you so much for your gold pill donations. Jen Seppi, Disco Daphne, Anno 1971, Share Within, PJ's Weirnick, Patricia Saradol. Hello, Adam. Hugs to you back. Leyland, Mary Bumpus, Fearless. You got your mind, body, spirit complex here, huh? So do I. Lucy in the Sky, Amethyst Cat, Allison Neal, Morning Flower, Lotus Poet. It's great to see all you guys. Hi, Amy Joe. Always good to see you. Fatio. I hope everybody's doing well. What is this? I got to get used to us doing this song. What's going on? T-Roy, it's good to see you. Due diligence. What was I going to say? It's weird doing this on Monday at a different time now. You know what I mean? I got to adjust.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to adjust to that. I'm not used to that. I'm used to doing this at night. So this is cool. I love this topic, dude. I'm totally into this topic. And I don't expect you to be enthusiastic today, Foil, not like me, but that's fine. Foil's not feeling so great. She'll get through it
No,
because she's a G.
I'm not.
Because she's a G.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. She'll be
I,
fine.
I didn't want to miss the opportunity to be here with you fine people.
Right. Foil doesn't show weakness, ever. No. So
No, ma'am.
it's cool. We're going to totally get through it. Guys. Yeah. So let's see. First of all, let me bank some super chats from last show. Phil Christophers, Leyland, Mountain Dreams, Suiterbug, DJ D75, Koiz, Psyop, so I don't know. I better figure out how to say that name right. Gloomtube in Disguise, Nick Houston, Morning Flower, Duppy Montana, Omazon, Julie65, Patriot 714. Thank you guys so much for your support. And FZ for the recorder. Hope you ladies are doing well. Oh, you want me to get that recorder, so I'll start doing meditations again, huh? Yeah, I do. I need to get that recorder. It's probably a good idea. I need a lecture recorder. So I can record, because for some reason it doesn't, on the Telegram, it's not allowing. My vibes are too high, man. The Archons won't allow it. You know what I mean? I got to record that stuff.
The Archons have been on one recently for sure.
Tesla Dove, thank you for the phone, and thank you for this topic. And the Grouch79 with the cookie, good afternoon, friends. Yeah, I love this topic. You know what I mean? And why does Alara love this topic? I love this topic because I mean, like I openly speak about all the time, I had a really intense spiritual awakening, and it changed me forever. And I got to experience, if only for a short while, the interconnectedness of creation. And, before that, I didn't even know if we had a soul or not, or
we definitely have a soul.
I didn't know
for sure.
It put me on a level, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I what's going on, Toots? Good to see you. It put me on a level like where I don't know how to explain it, man. I'm not gonna get too deep, but when you feel the presence of God like that, and you can see it, I know that you understand, and I know that a lot of people in these chats understand what I'm talking about. Just nothing really compares after that. You know what I mean? There's really nothing on earth that you could throw at me that I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm all into that. No, it's nothing really compares to becoming more unified with the creator. There's nothing like it. You know what I mean? And so I have this total fascination with, this is part of what I spoke about at ESETI this past summer, was human consciousness. You know what I mean? And the universe and the Bible, and how it's all kind of interconnectedness. And I tried to get people to maybe look at things a little bit different, or, at least continue asking questions about, the connection between the creator and the Bible and science, all of it. And anyway, consciousness is one of my...
Well, I mean,
go ahead.
It seems that most cultures very quickly came to the understanding that there was some essence of us that was not tied to our body. And now we're to the point that science is able to, and some mainstream scientists are able to, somewhat, not necessarily quantify it, but at least make a sound argument for why this is the case, why there is more.
Yeah, you and I both share that experience, not exact same experience, but we both share the experience of, in some respect, leaving our physical bodies and then returning
Oh, yes.
with a significant change uh, to the whole spiritual makeup of the individual. And so we share that experience. It's definitely one of our common bonds, and I think that's what helps us understand each other on a level that uh, we both had really significant spiritual experiences that have taught us, that there's more. And anyway.
Yeah, definitely a wild ride.
Oh yeah, dude, my life has been a straight cartoon. I have no other word for it, dude, but a cartoon. You know what I mean? But that's cool, man. That's what I needed. That's what my soul needed to evolve. So, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what my soul needed to evolve. All right, so let's see. Let's listen to what science is saying about consciousness.
And thank you for the prayers, guys.
Oh, they're sending you prayers? Oh.
Yeah.
I love them.
I appreciate you guys.
They're amazing. They're amazing. Okay, here we go. Let's watch what this guy has to say here.
There is a scientific revolution going on now about the mind-brain discussion, the relationship between the two, that is extraordinary. And I think it's going to lead to a complete shift in our worldview that is unprecedented. And this living in a mindful universe is really about that scientific revolution.
Are you discounting whether the brain controls consciousness?
No, I think what we would say is the brain is a reducing valve or filter that allows primordial consciousness in. That is, the brain is not the creator of it. You cannot explain all of the details of human experience, especially all the evidence for non-local consciousness, the evidence for things like reincarnation, past life memories in children, indicative of reincarnation, things like that, if you think the brain is the producer of consciousness.
So what is the producer?
Well, consciousness is what exists and generates the entire universe. It's the fundamental ground state.
So this is my consciousness now, right?
It's all consciousness. It's all generated within consciousness. I mean, the thing to remember is we're under, we discuss in the book, what we call the supreme illusion, and that is that the brain and mind are very good at convincing us that all this stuff around us is out there. But what you're actually experiencing is a model deep within mind that is supposed to represent something that is out there. But I think that's where it's important to point out the mystery of quantum physics, because the experiments in quantum physics keep showing us in no uncertain terms that consciousness is fundamental, that the conscious observer and our free will has everything to do with determining outcomes. It's not determined by mechanistic chemical reactions and the laws of physics and chemistry applied to the brain.
Doesn't it almost destroy everything you learned?
Absolutely not. In fact,
no?
It opens the door to a far broader understanding, because what we're saying is the brain is simply a reducing valve that allows certain conscious states to exist. And this is where, from the quantum physical standpoint, it's really getting at what's known as the observer. That is the deep mystery, is the awareness of existence. And what I would submit is that we're conscious in spite of our brain. And so, in fact, the big surprise and kind of the practical lesson for human beings is that when your physical brain and body die, your conscious awareness actually expands tremendously.
Watch new episodes.
This ties in completely too with what the Egyptians say. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of different schools of thought and philosophies on this topic, and about the understanding. It seems like since ancient times, as far back as we can go, different civilizations have had an understanding of this component of the spirit. And you know what, he's talking about the universal mind too. This is something you and I tend to agree on, even though we have different views on religion and stuff. We tend to agree on the fact that the universal mind is God. You know what I mean? The consciousness is God. You know, you think it's that we only disagree on, you think it's outside of the system, and I don't know what I think. I just think that it is the universal mind, right? Or maybe go ahead.
Well, it's funny because last night when I was reading the Bible before I went to bed, it just so happened that I opened up to a passage in Hebrews that said, by faith we understand that the universe was made at God's command, that all things that are seen were made by things that are unseen.
Jules of Truth coming with the cookie, praying for divine awakening for all. Thank you so much. That's an amazing prayer to have. And Adam Hugapug coming with 500 gold pills. Hugs. What did it say? It dropped by. Hugs from Keshan the Love Pug. Oh, thanks, friend. We really appreciate that. Our Cloaked Unseen World. I'm inviting you all to watch on Severe's show tonight. All right, you're going to be on Severe's show. Thank you, Cloaked.
Awesome. PJ Zweering, you were just trying to figure out where we kind of disagree. PJ Zweering said, and you too can be God. Blasphemy. This is where, because I also feel like we as an individual, we cannot be God. We were given a spark by God. Whereas I think you tend to feel like we can become, maybe not gods in our own right, but that
I think we can channel the Creator. I think as we up our spiritual game, we become more in tune with the Creator, and we can channel the Creator's energy, which exists within all of us and within all of creation. You know what I mean? And I think that we can channel the Creator and begin to get abilities and do things that would make maybe people on our level appear as gods, right? And maybe this is why in ancient times, the humans perceived these other beings that maybe basically existed in another dimension and could drop down into ours to interact and have these abilities like teleportation and this sort of thing. This is why they viewed them as gods, because of their abilities. Right. But this is a natural progression as you get closer to the Creator, is you're able to channel the Creator's intelligent energy, right? And that's more in alignment with what I believe. It's not that we can become God. That's a distortion of what I actually believe. You know what I mean? And, I think we view Jesus a little bit differently, but not really. We both kind of agree that Jesus was the Son of God. The how that manifested, or how that came about manifesting, or the original energy of this entity, I think we kind of have a little bit different of a view on. But really, if you look at it, we mainly agree on creation and God. We only have very slight, differences in our belief systems. So it is what it is. And I try with mine, at the end of the day, I try to stay open. You know what I mean? Like, I know I don't know everything. I know that I don't know shit.
Right.
And so I stay open. You know what I mean? Like, my preferred books, but I stay open to the fact that things could be a lot more biblical than I understand. You know what I mean? And I think if you're always praying for discernment when you read books and when you stay open-minded, that those answers will slowly start to trickle in as they should in whatever time that they should. So, I don't know, if that sort of explains it for people of what I think. And I have very specific reasons why I see things that way. I've had experiences that have taught me certain things. So, and I think I was allowed to have those experiences so that I could understand. You know what I mean? I don't know, but we're all going through this evolving, growing, trying to understand our Creator and creation, and this, this dimensional shift and this great awakening on the planet. And we're all trying to understand it, and we're all in this together, you guys. So everybody's thoughts and everybody's experiences are appreciated, because that helps us put the puzzle pieces together. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
As long as we stay open and stay humble. All right, let's check out what the Egyptians have to say, because it was really interesting what the Egyptians' understanding of the soul and consciousness and what happens after death is. So let's check out something about them real quick, and then we can kind of dive further into that topic.
Have any of you ever seen a ghost? It's not an experience that we have first-hand experience of, but it does make for some interesting scenarios. When someone dies, for example, could your mind play tricks as you are overcome with grief? Could hallucinations actually be documented ghost sightings? What the mind wants, the mind gets, right? In ancient Egypt, the return of a ghost was also considered a very serious matter. For the Egyptians, non-existence was an intolerable concept, and it was believed that, at death, the soul traveled to the Hall of Truth, where it was judged by Osiris and the 42 judges by having its heart weighed in balance with the white feather of truth. If the heart was found lighter than the feather, the soul proceeded on to the afterlife, while if it was heavier, it was thrown to the floor where it was eaten by a monster and the soul would cease to exist. The heart would be lighter if you have lived a good life and heavier if you had not. The afterlife was known as the Field of Reeds, which was a mirror image of life on earth in Egypt. You would enjoy the house you knew, the stream by the house, your favorite tree and dog, and so there was no reason for a soul to want to return to earth unless that soul had a very good reason for doing so. In the earlier period of Egypt, the soul was considered a single entity known as the Khu, the immortal aspect of an individual, but in later times the soul was thought to be comprised of 5 different components. 2 of these components, the Ba and Ka, spirit and personality, came together after death in the form of the Ak, and it was this entity that would return as a ghost. If proper rites had not been observed in burial, or some sin had been committed by the living, either before or after the person's death, the Ak was given dispensation by the gods to return to earth to redress the wrong. The living who were harassed by the ghosts would have to plead their case directly to the returned spirit in hopes of a reasonable response, and if that was ineffective, would need to have a priest intervene and judge between the living and the dead. If properly buried with adequate rites and continually remembered, the spirits of the dead could be a great benefit to the living and watch over them throughout their lives. There was a significant difference, however, in Egyptian understanding of a spirit who resides peacefully in the field of reeds and a ghost who returned to earth. What do you guys think of this anyway? Comments below, and as always, thank you for watching.
You know, Foil, I think Gnostics are kind of the ultimate conspiracy theorists, if you think about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know.
a big fan of the trying to understand the Gnostic school of thought on things.
Because not that I agree with everything, and not even the Gnostics agreed with each other. That's what people don't get. But it's fascinating because a lot of what they talk about is in alignment with what I believe this. I mean, if you think about it, Gnosticism is the ultimate conspiracy. You know what I mean? That literally everything is a conspiracy. And I kind of tend to agree with that. So I definitely study a lot of the Gnostic texts because I think there's a lot of really, really good, interesting stuff in there. And there was a reason that they were kept out. But yeah, if you think, that never occurred to me before. They're like the ultimate conspiracy theorists. I don't know, just a random thought. But anyways, yeah, because I am for sure, like, I'm very, what is it with me?
About the gnosis.
Well, no,
about the knowledge.
I'm very leery, dude, of like, I don't know. I just don't, I guess I got to feel into things. Like, I rely way more heavily on my intuition than my 5 senses anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
I literally read things like, and I have to think about it, and it has to settle, and I have to talk to, you know, higher, however you want to put it. I have to get in touch with, you know, before I can even make a decision. Like, I'm very...
Got to make sure your resonance matches the creator resonance, matches the resonance of the thing you're trying to, you know, evaluate. Yeah, I'm with you.
It takes me time. I can't just be like, yeah, that's... I mean, I can't just look at something and be like, yeah, that's there. Like, I really gotta... I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to articulate. I feel into things. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta feel things on a deeper level. And I wasn't always that way, you guys. This is a recent thing for me. But it's become pretty intense. Okay, so where would you like to go from here?
Well, thank you, Leyland. Leyland says, we're an extension of the creator like an octopus in its tentacles. Together we are unity consciousness. Individually, all of creation makes up the creator. Thank you for the super chat.
I tend to agree with that statement, yes.
Right. And then thank you, Cloaked, for the can. Who in chat thinks the song Imagine is evil? Imagine the Beatles? Imagine? I'll be sharing negative things to then destroy them. I assume
right.
you mean on Severe's. Thank you for the can.
Let me briefly go over the Egyptian parts of the soul, just
Yes.
as briefly as I can, so we can kind of discuss their understanding.
Yeah,
So
'cause they definitely did not. There was no, there was definitely something that happened after death. Like they were not, there was no nihilism there. Like there was something, and it was going to happen. They absolutely had a belief in the division of the soul.
all right, so they believed there was the Ka was the physical body, which, when it became a corpse, provided the link between one's soul and one's earthly life. The soul would need to be nourished after death, just as it had to be while on earth, and so food and drink offerings were brought to the tomb and laid on an offerings table. All right, and then they believed in the Ka. The Ka was one's double form or astral self. So this would be what your body at night when you go to sleep, your body that does stuff, and you perceive it as a dream. This would be your Ka. Ka was the double form or astral self, corresponds to what most people in the present day consider to be a soul. This was the vital source that enabled a person to continue to receive offerings in the next world. The Ka was created at the moment of one's birth for the individual. So that kind of lines up with the law of one a little bit. Okay, so the Ka was created at the moment of one's birth for the individual, and so reflected one's personality for that particular physical complex, I'm guessing. But the essence had always existed and was passed across the successive generations, carrying the spiritual force of the first creation. The Ka was not only one's personality, but also a guide and a protector, imbued with the spark of the divine. It was the Ka which would absorb the power from the food offerings left in the tomb, and these would sustain it in the afterlife. All living things had a Ka, from plants to animals, and on top and up to the gods, which was evident in that they were simply alive. Then there was the Ba. The Ba is most often translated as soul, and was a human-headed bird aspect, which could speed between earth and the heavens, and specifically between the afterlife and one's corpse. Each Ba was linked to a particular body, and the Ba would hover over the corpse after death. Oh, what? I said hoover? Hey, you know what? You know how they say the spirit stays in the physical location where it died for 30
Yes.
days?
Yeah,
So that
for a
would be
while.
the Ba. That was what they're describing. So, but what are ghosts? Maybe they'll explain it in here.
Well, that's what that video was talking about. The Ba and the Ka together make up the Ak,
Which is the ghost, right?
which is what like if it had like that would get sent back if it was on some,
Oh, that makes sense.
if it had to come deal with some stuff or whatever.
Each Ba
after
was
death.
linked to, and in the law of one it says you manifest I can't find the wording right now, but anyway, I can't figure out the wording right now. Each Ba was linked to a particular body, and the Ba would hover over the corpse after death, but could also travel to the afterlife, visit with the gods, or return to earth to those places that the person had loved in life. The corpse had to reunite with the Ka each night in order for the Ka to receive sustenance, and it was the job of the Ba to accomplish this. The gods had a Ba as well as a Ka. Examples of this are the Apis bull, which was the Ba of Osiris, and the phoenix, the Ba of Ra. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. All
Well,
right.
it's interesting. Didn't they said it had bird headed? I'm surprised. And
Yeah.
it went up and down to the heavens. I'm surprised you didn't jump all over that. Like,
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I never knew about that part of the Egyptian belief system before. Okay, the Shu Yet was the shadow self, which means it was essentially the shadow of the soul. The shadow in Egypt represented comfort and protection, and the sacred sites at Amarnia were known as the shadow of Ra for this reason. See, a lot of people, they think Ra is like this Egyptian sun god. They don't, that's kind of been contorted and misunderstood. You know what I mean? It was just some... Okay, I'll keep reading. I'm fascinated with this stuff. They're known as the shadow of Ra for this reason. Exactly how the Shu Yet functioned is not clear, but it was considered extremely important and operated as a protective and guiding entity for the soul in the afterlife. The Egyptian Book of the Dead includes a spell where the soul claims, "My shadow will not be defeated," instating its ability to traverse the afterlife towards paradise. The Ak was the immortal transformed self, which was a magical union of the Ba and the Ka. Interesting. And Ak, usually translated as spirit, was the higher form of the soul. I'm working on a
survived
decode.
as an enlightened spirit, yes, and endured unchanging for eternity.
I wonder what this has to do with walk-ins, Foil. People that have had those walk-in experiences, did these entities combine and go back into the body, I wonder? And that's why their higher form took over the body? Is that even possible? I don't know. There's nobody I can ask because nobody knows. All you can do is just dig into these different philosophies and try to get some sort of understanding. Okay, so... Oh, the Ak could return to Earth, however, and it was an aspect of the Ak which would come back as a ghost to haunt the living.
Yes.
If some wrong had been done, or would return in dreams to help someone they cared for. And I'll bet it could take over and inhabit a human body, too. If ghosts can come back and haunt, you know they could take over a body, too.
Well,
maybe I'm onto something here. I don't know. What do you guys think? The S-A-H-U, the Sa was the active aspect of the Ak, which would appear as a ghost or in dreams. It's separated from the other aspects of the soul once the individual was justified by Osiris and judged worthy of eternal existence. Interesting. The Shem was another aspect of the Ak, which allowed it mastery of circumstances. It was the vital life energy of the individual, which manifested itself as the power to control one's surroundings and outcomes. The Ab was the heart, the source of good and evil, which defined a person's character. This was the spiritual heart, which rose from the physical heart, also known as the Hat, which was left in the mummified body of the deceased for this reason. It was the seat of the person's individuality and the record of their thoughts and deeds during their life on earth. It was the Ab, which was weighed in the balances against the white feather of truth by Osiris, and if found heavier than the feather, it was dropped to the floor, where it was devoured by the monster Amut. Well, that's kind of sucks, but once the heart was eaten, the soul ceased to exist. If the heart was found lighter than the feather, the soul was justified and could proceed on toward paradise. Wow. The Ren was one's secret name. What? This was given to one at birth by the gods, and only the gods knew it. The only way that the fate or destiny could change is if a creature of higher power changes the name. As long as the name of the being exists, the being will exist throughout eternity as part of the fabric of the divine order. The Ren was the name by which the gods knew the individual soul and how one would be called in the afterlife.
The secret name.
Foil.
Oh boy. The sun gave you its Ren.
Something happened, dude. I got given a name.
And apparently
I got given a name by
possession.
some higher dimensional beings, dude, that resonated as my real name. So you tell me, dude. I don't know. There's a little bit.
Is that your Ren?
I don't know. Maybe Alara is my Ren.
Alara's your Ren?
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe
apparently there was possession in ancient Egypt, by the way.
See? Might be.
They had
here.
You know, the Book of the Dead has spells for everything.
So if there's all these different aspects to the soul, this actually lines up with a few things I've read. I just can't, my memory sucks and I can't pull up the actual text or passages off the top of my head, but I could tell Foil is not feeling it today. You're gonna be all right, Foil. Yeah.
I'm all right.
This is rough,
It's great.
huh?
I'm great. I'm all right.
All right, so where would you, see, Leah says God knows us by name. That's wild.
Oh, God called you by name before you were born.
Yeah. But it wasn't your government name. It was a different name.
Probably not.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just, I like to think about this stuff. I like to figure it out. I've had a lot of weird stuff happen to me, guys. And I try to figure it out. Like, I try to decode what happened. Like, I just, it's a continual process. But, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's had a lot of weird stuff happen to them that they don't fully understand. So.
Man.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. So. Okay, so where do we want to go from here, Foil?
Well, I mean, we can get to, listen, You are definitely driving the car today. I mean,
Yeah.
we can look at the ancient Greek schools of thought on the soul. You can look at the Chinese schools of thought on the soul. I think we've got some other videos just kind of talking
All right,
about
just leave you out of
variety,
it, huh? Just let you
the
let you.
Hindus.
Okay, so Chinese concepts of the soul. Let me show you guys this. Few words are more ambiguous than the word soul. It is primary meaning seems to designate an entity distinct from the body, the principle of life, thought, and action in man, the source of the physical activity of the individual person. The soul is assumed to exist as a spiritual substance to antithesis to material substances. Thus, soul and body are contrasted and thought to be separable. It is more comprehensive since the soul denotes the whole self or personality, the essential principle of human nature and the basis of consciousness, continuous individual existence. In Semitic and indeed in Zoroastrianism, I've been studying that a lot lately. I've been really getting into that. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Zoroastrianism, I'm really into that lately. Thought man was regarded as a single unified being consisting of a soul and a body, neither of which could exist without the other. In Indian religion, on the other hand, as Zahur, I should have moved the screen closer, writes in his latest book, there are two worlds which are never wholly compatible. There is the world of eternal spirit on the one hand and the world of never-ending change on the other. Two entities face one another, not only man but animals too, are thus a compound of these two eternities. The separation of the one from the other constitutes salvation. Soul must bid farewell to matter forever if it is to be free and if it is to recognize itself as eternal. Well,
now that's interesting.
Hold on. The separation of one from the other constitutes salvation. Soul
Yes.
must bid farewell to matter, or maybe ego.
You have to free yourself
from ego,
from
matter.
the skin suit.
Yes.
You have to free yourself from the illusion. You know, the Indians believed in the Maya, right? They're the Hindus. Like, you have to free yourself from the illusion of Maya. And it's interesting that they point out that the Semitic and the Zoroastrianism, where they say, you know, man was regarded as a single unified being, consisting of a soul and a body, but neither could exist without the other. That they felt that the soul was bound forever to a state of matter, whereas the Hindus, you know, and other similar schools of thought felt that matter is that what we perceive is an illusion. Matter is an illusion. Our reality is an illusion, and that your true salvation comes from the separation itself. That's very, very dichotomous as far as methods of thinking on the soul
because you jump into this experience with the veil there, where you don't understand anything beyond the five senses in your physical body, but the ultimate test is to figure that out and to detach from the physical body, and in essence, I would think the ego, which is what runs the show while you're in your physical body.
Well, that's why like Buddhism and Hinduism have such a focus on meditation and stripping away of the ego, because you want to strip away the illusions that come with the perceptions of what we consider to be reality.
The mind and the ego and the five senses. Get in touch with the universal mind,
yes,
which is your.
You want to strip your distortions.
Yes, strip your distortions. Very well put. And get in tune with the universal mind, which is,
once you strip away your distortions, once you take away the false perceptions of the Maya of this reality, you're only left with the essential, like the quintessential substance of consciousness, of spirituality. There's nothing left but your purest self.
Right.
That's my contribution to the discussion for the day. That's
great.
As much as my brain is able to process at the moment.
Thank you. Well, even your brain at 2% is
oh, I'm dying.
You know,
right?
Is
well,
exceptional. You. Yeah, you're totally welcome. So I'll take your 2% for the show. That'll be great. Thank you for your contribution, ma'am.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So this is a fascinating topic. I'm learning stuff today. Yeah.
There's a ton of there's so like you gotta the thoughts on the soul. This was the basis of all philosophy. What is it? What is the true essence of us? What is it that you know, people, I mean, in anthropology, and as you know, when we go back through the archaeological record, they literally determine they determined the development of religion and the idea of life after death by burial records. Like when people started burying other people, we know that at that point, their reverence for the dead indicated that they had thought beyond what they could see in their immediate present. Okay, so this is how we determine like the beginnings of religion, the beginnings of spiritual thought, because we correlate it with burial practices, even simple burial practices, scattering bodies with flowers. They find remains of plant components on top of the bodies in the burial record. Like, we know that gave them the idea that there was something more. I mean, this is one of the first topics of consideration that not just Western philosophy, but as you see, like the Hindus and the China, I mean, ancient schools of philosophy, this is the go-to question. What are we? What is left after we leave this place, if anything? We're talking about Chinese notions on the soul. And I mean, they have a very long tradition of ancestor worship over there.
Right.
So I mean, clearly, and I mean, that predates even written Chinese. Like they to this day, where traditional beliefs haven't been stamped out by the CCP, they to this day have a very strong sense of ancestor worship. We see kind of a similar thing in Mexico, as a matter of fact, even though the majority of them are Catholics. Like with the Day of the Dead ceremony, they take Feast of All Saints, they take food and stuff to the cemeteries. Like there's a notion that there's something that survives that is soul and consciousness of an individual, like that there's something of the personality of the individual that remains.
This is fascinating. I don't know that I even want, I don't even know that I want to take, should we play any more videos or just start taking calls and have a, should I play the Christian perspective on the soul versus the spirit, that one? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I told you it was funny that we were going to talk about this today. And then last night, like, I mean, literally, I was reading about them talking about all things that it's interesting to think about that. Everything that we see is made from things that we can't see,
Yeah, spirit manifests
down to
physical matter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even we think of matter as a solid thing, and it's not. There's so much empty space even within atoms that I mean, most of everything is empty space. It's held together by energetic bonds that we can't see.
Right. And there's little nuggets about this all over science. We just haven't quite figured it out, but there's little nuggets that allude to this all over science. Mm-hmm. Especially going into quantum physics. There's a lot of sauce in the quantum physics for God. It's great.
People said, are tacos something viewers can give to streamers on certain other sites? Go to the foxhole, fearless. And thank you, Leyland, for the cookie. Leyland says they are different aspects of spirit, being, form, awareness, consciousness, creation expressed in, and then I assume you ran out of characters.
This is just, my mind is blown right now. Can you tell I'm trying to assimilate this information and like
assimilate.
I'm trying to I'm reaching my own conclusions, not conclusions, but understandings. My consciousness is being expanded today in new ways. You know what I mean?
Fantastic.
And I'm getting, I think, a deeper understanding of my own path. This is just I knew this would be a fascinating topic to go over. Okay, so let's listen to what this gentleman has to say, and then we will open up the calls at approximately noon Pacific.
About this in some of my other videos, because once you start to grasp, to understand what this difference is between your soul and your spirit, it has a huge impact on your spiritual growth. So in this video, we're going to look at what the Bible says about your soul and your spirit. Let's get to it. Now, just very quick, if it's your first time here on my channel, I'm Daniel Moritz, and welcome to DLM Christian Lifestyle. If you haven't yet, consider subscribing and also clicking that notification bell so you won't miss any of the next videos. Now, the Bible is very clear. There's a huge difference between your soul and your spirit. and you need to know what that is. Hebrews 4 verse 12 says, "For the word of God is living and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword." Now listen to this. "Piercing even to the division of soul and spirit, and of joints and marrow." So the word of God cuts right between our soul and our spirit. In 1 Thessalonians we read, "Now may the God of peace himself sanctify you completely, and may your whole spirit, soul, and body be preserved blameless at the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ." So from these verses it is very clear that you have a body, a soul, and a spirit. But you need to know that your spirit only becomes alive the moment when you are spiritually reborn. That means when you become a real reborn Christian. I'll explain a little bit more on this a little bit later on. But it's interesting that God is three in one.
When you wake up and you start seeking God, when you wake up and you start seeking the Creator and you stop seeking the world, I mean, that's my understanding of what he's talking about.
One, the Trinity, right? And so we are made in His image, and we are also three in one: body, soul, and spirit. The spirit is called pneuma. The Bible also explains this as the inner man. The soul, psyche, is the outer man. The body, the soma, is the outermost man. So let's have a closer look at these three. First, the body is very clear, right? You see it when you look in the mirror. It's how you interact with the world through your 5 physical senses: smell, taste, touch, hear, and see. And then your body also wants...
Oh, Tesla Dev just said Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
I was addressing that in the chat, as a matter of fact. That's funny.
Interesting. Right.
physical desires like food, shelter, sex, clothing, and so forth. Now let's move on to the soul, the psyche. Now this is the part where people communicate with you. This is basically you. It consists of yourself, meaning your identity, your personality, your character, and then your emotions, which is your feelings and passions, and then your intellect, which is your mind and your thoughts, and then your will, which is your own will and desires, and then your conscience. And then, very importantly, not a lot of people know this, but it is also a dwelling place for evil, meaning your sinful nature and evil spirits. So if somebody hit you or poke you in your physical body, you feel pain, right? And when somebody uses abusive words, you also feel pain in your soul. Now, from the moment you're born, you only ever operated through these two, through your body and your soul. That's all you ever knew. But you were missing one part, your spirit, because you were born spiritually dead. Now your spirit is totally different from your soul. The spirit is the part where we get spiritual discernment, peace, and revelation. It is the part where we communicate with God Himself. So our spirit has a deeper discernment between right and wrong. 1 Corinthians 2 verse 14 says, "But the natural man does not receive the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him, nor can he know them."
All of these schools of thought basically agree. They see things a little bit differently maybe, but they're basically in agreement with each other. You know what I mean?
In large part. I mean,
About the fundamental parts of the whole thing, yeah.
You know, and I know I see a lot of guys in the YouTube chat that are kind of tripping out about, you know, the Christian perspective, but we're looking at a variety of perspectives here. You know, it's okay to look at what other people believe.
Because they are spiritually discerned. And then in our spirit, we also have peace. Romans 8 verse 6 says, "The mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace." And our spirit also receives revelation, which is insight and understanding from the Spirit of God. Ephesians 1 verse 17 says that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, may give to you the spirit of wisdom and revelation in the knowledge of Him. And now,
So do you think the Holy Spirit could be the same thing as being tuned in with your spiritual body, your spiritual essence?
The Holy Spirit itself is something that that is a part of God that, I mean, He says it's given you. Like the apostles actually take in the Holy Spirit when they before they go out and start and commence with the acts with all of their miracles that they performed. You know, that's what the what Pentecost, that's what, you know, the Pentecost was. The Holy Spirit came upon them. And it's a part of that actually resides in you. So I guess, Alara, when we were talking earlier about a part of God that resides in you know, an individual human. I mean, God says he sends the Holy Spirit. It's, you know, he gives you the, you know, that's his breath he gives to you.
Right.
And
but I'm saying,
you know,
could it be possible that when your spiritual body wakes up and you become in tune with your spiritual body, which would be your connection to the Creator,
you start hearing it.
That yes, which would be perceived as the spirit of the Holy Ghost in Christian terminology. That's what I'm saying. So you know me, I look at everything and I try to like decode it. I try to draw the connections between all these schools of thought and see what is the common denominator between what all these people are saying. And if you look at them all, they're all saying certain things, you know, fundamentally, you know what I mean? And that's
absolutely
the part that I find, I don't know, that's my thing. That's what I found. That's what I find fascinating. Okay, so where should we go from here? Should we listen to the guru and see what he has to say?
Yeah, you can pull up Sadhguru. That used to be my dude back in the day. Thank you, Stone Roller, for the cookie.
Let's see what Sadhguru has to say, and then we'll open up the lines and take callers and have a discussion about this, guys, and our personal experiences and how we came to the understanding that we have.
People under drug-induced conditions, they are claiming they experience many things. I'm not questioning that at all, it's very much possible. So, if you blow a soap bubble, I have blown my bubble. This is me, that is you. But when this goes poop, there is no such thing as my consciousness and your consciousness. There is consciousness even where there is no body, all right? Only thing is, you need a certain sophisticated instrument to access that. As we sit here, this is my body, that is your body, distinctly established. Right now, it is 100% like this. I don't know what you're drinking, I can't see, but whatever you're drinking…
You were drinking, Alara.
What's in the cup is not you. The moment you drink it, after some time it becomes you. This is happening right now. So, though what you think is your body…
He's right. That's why I'm careful what I put in my body.
Right, and hey, listen,
right. Garbage in, garbage out.
Just as a thing, he may have copyright on his videos, this guy. I'm not 100% on that, so just keep that in mind.
Well, I mean,
but
I can't play it then if that's how it's gonna go down.
Well, if we stop it and we're discussing it for educational purposes, as we are doing right now, okay. We can probably listen for another 30 seconds before we have to stop it again.
Okay.
Body and what I think is my body is just a piece of this planet. Right now it is distinctly clear, this is my body, that is your body, 100%. This is my mind and that is your mind. These are my emotions and those are your emotions. These are my experiences, those are your experiences. But there is no such thing as my consciousness and your consciousness.
It's all one consciousness. Perceiving itself as separated at this level of the game. But it's all, you know what I mean? That's what he's saying.
The living consciousness, we blew our own bubble. I'm sure you have that little wonderful boy who came on the screen, I'm sure he's blowing soap bubbles at you sometime. So, if you blow a soap bubble, this is my bubble, that's your bubble. Poop it went, then there is no such thing as my bubble and your bubble, there's no such thing as my air and your air. Consciousness is just like this. Right now you have blown your bubble, I have blown my bubble. This is me, that is you. But when this goes poop, there is no such thing as my consciousness and your consciousness. It is just that we are holding a certain amount of… if you want to call it as consciousness, I would prefer to call it as life, because the word consciousness, as you're speaking, I'm seeing that even last time when we spoke to all Bala's friends, what I see is wakefulness and consciousness, there is no clear distinction in medical terminology.
Well…
Yes.
Would you like to interject anything into this? Not to put you on the spot, but you know.
Do I gotta activate my 2% again?
No, I had to stop it for a second and make a comment, and I'm all fresh out of comments at the moment. So I'm wondering if you perhaps have one with that 2% of operational brain of yours at this current moment.
Right.
Time-space continuum.
You know, I've I find it hard now, but in my other life, I was a big fan of Sadhguru. He's very good at explaining concepts that seem confusing, you know, from his own perspective. And you know, I mean, he says essentially what a lot of these other people are saying is that, like, we perceive distinction, but it's only a momentary thing. And in the end, there is none.
Right. Which lines up exactly with what I've experienced. You know what I mean? That we're in some sort of illusion right now where we think we're separated, but we're not.
Well, I
We're
told you, a lot of
absolutely not separated. We're all one consciousness.
yeah, they call it Maya. Like I said, it's the illusion. You know, this entire thing is just one giant illusion. You know,
Greg SNFL Cookie, when it goes poop, it's all beautiful, right? So we got to pop the bubble, people. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to pop that bubble. You know, Foyle and I were talking about earlier, before we started the show, her and I were talking about how if humanity could just unite under a single intent, even if it was only for a moment, I really firmly believe we would have a quantum shift instantly.
a fraction of a moment, even.
A fraction of a moment. If we could all agree on with our universal mind on a single intention, that we could literally, like, you know, it talks about in the Bible, I think we could have a quantum shift. We could move mountains. We could do things that we don't even understand yet. We're just so divided and chaotic and fighting and disagreeing and distortions. And it's just, we can't get on the same page. It's a problem. But
Well, this is why, and I hate to point this out because this is their NWO shenanigans. But remember when Reagan said, you know, sometimes I think about how quickly we would unite in the face of a larger alien threat.
right. I just hope our first thought isn't, let's get them. You know what I mean? Not like,
Right,
like
yeah.
I hope our first universal mind thought together as one human race on this planet
Isn't like, oh shit.
isn't oh shit or let's get them or a combination of the two.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're running some psyop on us to scare us all. And, you know, I hope, my wish is that we can all unify in love.
Well, you're real big on, you know, on the aliens. So like think about it. If the angels, you know, or the good aliens come down and they're radiating benevolence, our first thought probably isn't going to be, oh shit. Now, if they come on some
it's gonna
Project
be, oh
Blue
shit, we're
Beam
retarded.
psyop, yeah, that maybe like, oops.
Yeah,
you know, like
oops, that'll
oops
be it.
would probably
Oops.
be the first one. Like, oh, I got some things to think about. But I mean, if they come on some blue beam, then they're the first resonance, the first unity resonance would be fear. If they come with the psyop, you know. So
Jen Seppi says love. What if the one thought that we all have at once, if say the benevolent ones, and I don't think it's going to work like this, but say they did show up, and this is
right.
This would be the experience everybody would have, would be the overwhelming feeling of love, and it would I think it would humble the humans a lot. But anyway, what if the one unified thought that we had in that moment was love? I don't know. I think that
would be great.
Kind of deep, dude. So, Aaron Sawyer says, we are the aliens. We're already here. That thought has occurred to me too. You know, it's definitely the case in my particular situation. The thought has occurred to me that perhaps we're all just angels and demons down here playing a video game. That thought has occurred to me. But I think there's different levels of creation, different dimensions, different levels of making your way out of separation and back in union with the creator, right? So I think, you know, it really can't be viewed at like that. But maybe on some levels, like your future self, which would technically be an extraterrestrial, is down here at this point in space and time having a human experience in this particular body, which something like that. And could my future self have a spaceship and perhaps be able to manifest here to perhaps let me know that I was on the wrong track? I think that's very likely. I think that's
Thank you, Leyland, for the cookie.
Yeah.
Uni equals one, verse equals song. One song.
All right, so phone lines are open, guys. Feel free to call in if you would like to, and let's continue our discussion about the human soul and consciousness. I love this topic. This is great. I've had like epiphanies today. I love when I have epiphanies. It's wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
so the meeting ID and passcode is up on the screen. Let me see if I can pull the actual link out of Telegram. Yeah, and post that real quick. Yeah, here we
Keep
go.
True asks, is emotion connected or a temporary response? I believe emotion arises from physical perception. So I would assume it's a temporary response. I mean, you can probably scar your soul with repeated negative emotion. I am certain of that.
I think emotion is like some kind of power force that we don't understand. But I can't fully articulate what I mean by that. I think it's just some sort of like, it's what generates, it's what amplifies energy in a particular direction, whether it be negative or positive charge, just
That's
like a
for sure.
battery. I think the emotion is what amplifies it. So
That is for sure.
that's what I think it is in my understanding. So let's see. Brew 525 USA fam says feline Syrians are always welcome in my house. All right, looks like our cloaked unseen world is gonna come in and school us. This is always interesting. Hello, Cloaked.
What up, Cloaked?
What up? Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch, man. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Good. Love this topic.
Yeah, this it's a deep one. You know, it basically it leads to the answer of what the Great Awakening is truly about. It's about it's about the energy body, the light energy body.
Getting in light with your spiritual body. What is your understanding of what the spiritual body is, and maybe in our understanding? That's the energy body? The light body? Is that the light body?
Yes, light body. Yes, ascended master body. Yeah, that's what it is. Your Merkaba body.
So
everybody take it.
What do you think happens to the physical body when you get fully in alignment with your light body?
You can turn yourself into a ball of plasma energy. You can fly through the sun.
And then
you can travel anywhere you can travel anywhere in the universe.
Then your physical body dies. Mute gate.
The monks believe that when you attain rainbow body, you can ascend at will.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't. You can turn yourself into anything. You can combine your energy with somebody else's energy and be something even bigger. That's what the earth is. It's all one energy. That's what the universe is. It's all just one energy. You know, that's what everything's energy. Everything comes down to energy. That's it. Energy is everything. And there's positive and negative. Every thought, statement, and action that you say, think, do.
That's what happened in my vision, Cloaked. I had a vision about like the solar event that people talk, whatever you want to describe it as. And I could fly. And my understanding of it from the vision was that I was just in my light body. And when you're in your light body, you're not held back by physical limitations like we understand. And everybody else, we were all in our light bodies, and we didn't even realize. I'm sure if I had looked at the ground, my physical body was down there, passed away. But all I knew is I was free and I could fly, and this was cool. And we were like, yeah, we're all still alive. This is great. You know what I mean?
Well, that's when you do it when you remote view too. Well, it happens to me when I remote view sometimes. Like that's what I'm seeing, in my mind. I learned. I'm going to tell the story tonight on Brianna's show. What I'm going to share is going to be mind blowing, and I put it in a way, and I tie it in a nice little bow, and it has to do with the song Imagine, and why that was written by John Lennon, and what its true meaning from him, his intent, and what he wrote it for to manifest is what matters. Mm-hmm. Not all these other charlatans out there who are getting you to buy into it as a creation that was created to do harm.
I got a question for you. What do you think, how does this play out, the Great Awakening? Like, what people understand as the shift, the rapture, whatever. How does that play out in your estimation, in your opinion? I'm curious what your opinion is, Ryan.
I think it plays out that, it's so complicated because I honestly think that some of the people in our just in our own personal lives, even like talking brother, sister, mother,
Yeah.
you know, best friend, I think some of them have already been lost long ago, and they've just been replaced by like a clone or a drone, or they have been the whole time.
Yeah, but those of us that are awake, when do you think we get to be free of this, you know?
Well, it's all coming to a head. This warp speed, you know, this warp speed is given that name for a reason. Is you know, they just did the mandate thing. I just got a letter from my work where I've been out of, I haven't had to work, and I have an exemption from the letter they sent me. As far as I know it, I do, but I, you know, that could turn out to be something else, but I'm not going to manifest it to be something else. But anyways, regardless, it's all going to come to a head, and that mandate is the thing that's going to bring it to a head. Can you imagine what will happen if they, okay, think about this, say that electricity goes out, you can't get on the internet for a week, you can't get on the TV for a week, you're not going to, it's going to break the hypnosis of humanity.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
That's what's, you know,
Humanity will evolve a little bit more.
Yes,
I'm hoping.
yes.
I'm hoping we get a good solar blast that knocks everything out, because I think it'll.
Man, right?
I think it'll set things back to the way they should be, and I think people will get more in touch with God and with each other, and I think it's a reset that we need. To be honest with you, I kind of welcome it.
Well, people don't understand that if that, say that does happen, and all the electronics that we have that we know of today are obsolete tomorrow. People don't understand, and I'm gonna play a video of Dr. Greer tonight, and I'm gonna describe what he's describing there, and what he's describing there is an ability that we have, that we can do once we are trained how to do that. And all this electronics, this phone, the computer, all that's, it's like he said in the video, it's all meaningless, it's all garbage. It's all, you know, it's just a construct of, just like money, just like everything.
Yeah.
It's you know,
it's a psyop within the gigantic matrix psyop. It's like another level.
People are worried about what are they going to do about
Psyopception.
Psyopception.
You know? Yep. What are they going to do about the jobs? People are wondering if that happens. What are they going to do about the transportation? People lose their jobs. It's like, no, we're going to be able to transportate ourselves with just a mere thought once they train us how to do it and get all this out of our bodies.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
If
you were to take away the chemtrails and you were to take all the stuff, the towers beaming stuff at us, the satellites beaming stuff at us.
Well, like you were saying earlier, it literally, if people got on the same energy, same page with the same thought, you know, literally it could change overnight. It could transform the surface of the globe. Tesla even talks about it. So intricate, so inconceivably complex are the processes of nature. And I understand those processes on a whole nother level. And it's just, I don't know why what's happened to me has happened. It is what it is. That's it. You know, I mean, when you see what I'm going to show tonight, I showed it a little bit of it on Diddy Styles channel. I have even more context to add since even then, that I've learned and stuff and you know, it's a wonderful future that's ahead of us.
You and I have talked about this. You're on a whole nother level that most people can't. You know, and I know that about you. You know what I mean? Even though I can't understand you half the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know. Nobody can.
Right.
Except me.
Right. But we'll get there. But I mean, I get it. Yeah.
Oh, you'll if you tune in tonight, you're gonna see a whole, because I've got, when I've planned for something, when I've taken my time putting something together, I can show it presented in a way that's a little more palpable to people to an extent. I'm going to say some things that are going to be instantly doubted, you know, when I talk about some stuff I haven't talked about, you know, that I have to an extent, but not going to talk about it.
What time are you going to be on Severe's show tonight?
8 o'clock.
Okay, so 8 p.m. What time zone? I love it when people say 6 o'clock,
Eastern.
5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and they don't say Eastern or Pacific. Yeah.
Can you do me a favor? Can you please just play the first 3 minutes?
I'm not playing videos.
Okay, just play the audio. You don't have to play a video, just the audio. Can you play audio?
We're not doing that, Ryan, because we made the rule, and if we break it for you, then
Oh,
we
you
have to
made a
break,
rule? I didn't know you.
Yeah, we made.
I didn't know
rule.
you made a rule.
Yeah, if
I
we
didn't
break
know.
it for you, we have to break it for everybody. So
Okay,
I will.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Go. So what time again? What time zone are you going to be on Severe's?
8 Pacific, so it'll be 11 Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah.
8 Pacific, Ryan will be on Severe and On Show and doing whatever this video is and this decode you're going to do. So if you guys are interested, definitely go and check that out. A lot of what Ryan does is very fascinating.
Well,
All right.
I have got cutie codes, that
Okay.
I'm going to too. So
I'll come by. I'll come by and say hi and check it out. Yeah, you can find Severe and On over on D Live, guys. You can also find him on the Foxhole and Pill.net. I'm going to have to go ahead and let you go. Belushi just told me he's got 10 minutes. I have to let him in for his 10 minutes briefly. Thank you for calling in, Ryan. And it's
Much
always,
love to you,
it's always a
Cloak.
pleasure talking to you and listening to your insight on stuff. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Here comes Belushi. Belushi, welcome to the Conspiracy Couch. I see that your audio is still connecting. We are going to patiently wait for it to connect. Because I think you know how to do this. I'm pretty sure.
Right? He is with us now.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about me?
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Welcome to the couch, Belushi.
I love you too so much.
We love you.
We're flowers.
Unfortunately, it's a pretty chaotic Monday, and
Yes.
I've been spending most of my time this morning not only working but dissecting this exact topic with my mother, and it's very interesting that you two are doing this today, and I appreciate it because the severing of the soul, the disconnection from the various parts of how we are meant to be able to have the ability to create planets, has been severed. And I love Cloak. God, Cloak, I love you, man. I just got to say, stop saying you're going to blow everyone's mind, because here's the problem. And that's not a diss. Here's the problem. That we can't even get people to believe that an election was stolen, let alone ascend to the accepting of knowledge that exists on how powerful we are, of the splitting of the literal atom, the planet, at this point, because our consciousness is going in one direction and is going in another, and the earth, Mother Earth, is in turmoil. She doesn't know what to do. She has,
because her beings are not in agreement about which direction to go.
Exactly, bestie. She's so conflicted right now because, like, with the shark and the little what do they do, what do they call them, like with like the little bird on the rhino, like they eat the parasites. Like, we are on top of the earth, and half of us
we talked about this the other day.
Yes,
she needs to manifest her new spiritual body, or whatever you want to look at her new, just like we do. It's the same thing.
Or she's gonna shake us all off like we're fleas.
She's either gonna, but she doesn't want to shake off the good fleas,
right?
And we're all good fleas. So she's conflicted. She doesn't want to. And okay, so here's where I was going with my mom earlier. She was talking about how many times the Creator has wiped out humanity on the planet. We've gone from caveman to building pyramids several times over. And we're past the timeline. 2012 came and went. The timeline snapped together, and we're past our time. So God's grace, the period of grace, has blessed us to give us an opportunity to correct it. Now, are we there? Hell no. I think it's going to take generations of cleanup. Yes. But we are at the point now where if we don't get it right, we are gone.
Yeah, she'll eliminate us if she has to.
I agree.
The Dracos and the Greys will rule this planet, or whatever it is, this form of simulation, and God's not going to hit the reset button again. I don't think he wants to be like playing Nintendo again. Like the simulation is over. Watch the first episode of The Matrix. We like the design of the person who's supposed to come and disrupt always gets reincarnated again and again. This time is the last time. So I love Cloak. I'm gonna go check out what he's got to say tonight. But what I'm saying is it's the singularity of consciousness around being able to create overnight or in a second or in a snap. We're nowhere near that level. And so this in lies the confliction of the earth. She is confused. We are harming her with this confusion, just like our vibrational energy is off, just like the Schumann has been so low, because the peaks and valleys of the demonic attacks are reoccurring. Now, yes. Are people going to continue to wake up? Yes, they are. And I hope they continue to do so. And we are doing a lot of work around that to do that and to be the bridge, to be that hand that reaches down. But I think we might reach a God coming down through the clouds, reaching his hand and writing on the wall. And it's going to be the most profound message that any one of us could ever possibly conceive, because that is where we are.
I'm with you.
Good stuff.
Just go outside. Just talk to a random stranger. These people they're not even in their body. And this is not doom porning or anything like that. This is like us continuing to do the work, because we want to take as many of them with us as possible, including the own battles in my own life.
But I think you take them with you by changing you, by being continually coming back to, but it's about me. I need to how can I look at me today and look at the things going on in there and how that's a reflection back to me of my own stuff that I need to work on, and be continually trying to improve and do the inner work. None of us are perfect. We all screw up. We all make mistakes. We all get out of alignment and do things maybe we're not necessarily so proud of. The point is to recognize that, to see that, and to go back in what inner work can I do to make myself a better, more loving, humble human being today. And that has a ripple effect, I swear, you guys, that we don't understand. It has a vibrational ripple effect. It does. At the end of the day, you can't control what's going on out there. None of us can, and that's what's frustrating. But you can control what's going on in here. And I think that's like the key thing that we need to begin to understand as a race of beings is not looking out there, looking in here. You know what
worry
I mean?
about yourself, man.
You knocked it out of the park, Alara. That is the key. It has to start with the individual, because that power resides in all of us. We all have the same abilities, and that's the great trick.
And it will affect the people around you. By working on you, you will affect change in the people around you.
Yeah.
Do you know how many, especially women, and this is not like I'm a hot whatever. This is like, I smile at women when we're wearing masks anywhere I go to any service station or whatever, and I see it in their eyes. Nobody has smiled at them in weeks. Nobody has recognized them as just a sovereign being on the planet Earth that just needs to be recognized as somebody who's exchanging goods with you, and that should be a pleasant experience. They've ripped that piece of humanity away from us. This is all by design, and that is the separation of the soul. To your topic today, this is what they are. And you know what? In a lot of ways, they're winning. In a lot of ways, they've succeeded in stripping that humanity away from us. And so what do we do, to Alara's point? It resides in you. You can be that one smile. You can be that one bright-eyed person who's looking at somebody else, recognizing them as a sovereign being and a soul, and saying, I see you. That's where it starts. That's where it starts. And we have a lot of work to do. Like I said, I think it'll be a generational cleanup. But you know what? I was saying this to Foyle the other night. I was like, what the fuck, man? 16-year anniversary of Katrina. We got Hurricane Ide ripping through this, the Baton Rouge again. What is going on? What's going to cover up? What is happening in the next couple of days? The withdrawal with Afghanistan has to be done by Tuesday evening, right? So, and supposedly we're going to get election results on Wednesday. So what are the things that we're going to continue to see where they push this evil, this control, this way of like, I hate to say distraction, but it is a distraction, because they're trying to get you off of your game. to continue to resonate in that high vibration
It's-
and to continue to seek the Lord, and for all of us to collectively be on the same path. Because at the end of the day, it's about the ascension of humanity, not what fucking camp and tribe I believe to. Excuse me for the language.
Yeah, and it's just a point about the word distraction. I mean, when you say it is a distraction, yes, it's a distraction to distract you from seeking anything other than the fear that they're pushing.
It's
Not necessarily a distraction from this to this, just a distraction in general.
But it's
Well
a
said,
distraction.
well said.
It's a distraction from you being in your heart chakra and in the
Yes.
vibration of love and acceptance.
Everybody hears distraction like, oh, they want us to look over here. No, they just don't want you to look inside, man. They want you to look at all this shit
And
and not
connect.
over and not at you. Right? It's not like distraction, like, oh, we got the results, so we can't be paying attention, so we got to look over here for the. No, just distraction from you.
The distraction from self.
They don't want
Yes.
they don't want you in alignment with your spiritual body. That's what it comes down to, guys. If you
Right.
really look at it, if you're in alignment with your spiritual body and seeking in that direction, which it's all connected, then they can achieve and accomplish things, and they can continue to manipulate. If you're on that path, they can't. They're done. It's over with for them.
They cannot reside or resonate inside of 4 or even 5D. I think we're going to skip 4. The 3D, the 3D, the 2D, the reptilians, the grays, the Dracos, the power structure, the construct of that hierarchy. They cannot go to the new plane.
Right.
And we are going there.
Right.
Are we going to walk through the Stargate? How many are we going to take with us?
Right.
I hope we take as many as possible. But the reason the construct of the Matrix exists is to keep you trapped inside of the 3D,
In the
trying
3D.
to win things,
Yes.
trying to win things like, oh, I got a BMW, or I paid off my house, or I got a great job. Yeah, great. Those are all great things, but those are false narratives. Those are okay. Here's the best thing that I've heard in my entire life. The American dream requires you to be asleep to achieve it.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
the
I have a
Matrix.
friend that used to tell me that, right? The only thing that comes to a sleeper is a dream.
The objective is to keep you in your ego and keep you out of alignment with your higher aspect.
To keep you winning, and like competition is good, and free markets are good, but listen,
Or Belushi make you fear the losing. If you're so busy worrying about
Right.
putting food on the table, you can't be worried about resonating
Fear.
in love or anything.
fear,
Yep.
negative vibrational energy.
Yep. Which
Permeating
the
through the
lower
cosmos.
fourth dimension can inhabit when we're vibrating at that level. They can inhabit
Exactly.
aspects of
And they have no power. And they actually believe in this in a full-on cosmic karma which they have to actually disclose and dispel everything that they do out in the open. And it's gotten so obvious now. And they're getting away with it. But it's like those people left behind, I mean, unfortunately, guys, they're gonna be left behind.
Yeah.
They're gonna be left behind. Everyone
They're choosing it.
The God literally put a line in the sand, and nobody recognized it except for us. And we're trying to show people, and we're trying to say, hey man, look, God put a line in the sand. What side are you going to walk on? What
So
side
true.
are you going to walk on?
So true.
Because ultimately the walk is back to the Creator.
Yes. Boom.
Because this little blink of an eye, this little existence, this little 100 years or 80 years, or God bless you if you live to 100, it's our souls are infinite.
Right.
And get right, because you might get rebounded and trapped back on this prison planet again.
Yeah, no thanks.
And that's the work we're here to do. No thanks. I'm ready to go now, Laura. I'm ready to go now. But he's not done with me.
Well, thank you for calling in,
Oh,
Belushi.
it's 2:22.
Yeah.
It's 2:22.
Right?
And you transition me out. I love you guys so much.
Much
Yeah,
love.
thank you for calling in. Always love to listen to your input. I got Miracle Girly coming up next, then Pilled by the Rabbit, and then Gary Flessner, and that will probably about all we'll be able to take today. So thank you, Belushi, so much for calling in. Like, as always, much love.
Thank you so much.
Have
Thank
a
you
blessed
guys
day.
for you as well. Thank you.
Belushi's always got insightful stuff to say. He
I
really does.
know.
Here comes Miracle Girly. Woohoo! I think she missed the beginning of the show. Miracle
Oh.
Girly, are we getting camera action today? What is
Right, I
going
was going to say
on? Here
no
comes the
angry unicorn. What is happening?
Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch, Miracle Girl. I see that your audio is still connecting. We will patiently await your arrival. I think we might get a camera today. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. She's probably not.
Right.
There
Hey,
she is, Miracle
sorry.
Girly.
Hi.
What's
Sorry,
up?
my bad. I was watching you guys and I heard your name and I thought, oops, I'm giving you feedback. Rookie move.
Mute the stream.
All right.
All right.
Now I'm
There's
truly
the
on.
angry unicorn.
Yeah.
Right.
I got so, enraptured with listening to the Belushi Foil Alara show that I forgot I had called in until you said my name. And of course there's a lag. But yeah, when I missed the first hour, which apparently was intense and deep. I didn't know Conspiracy Couch was this early. But of course, this is a topic I love. I love this topic, so how can I not call it? But I agree with everything that Belushi said, and I think right now that the trap is that we want to do something, right? Where as part of the whole 3D thing, everyone thinks of do as an action, like let's get out and fight the world. Let's get out and do something. What are we doing when we forget to think of what that prayer and meditation is doing something, but it feels so passive that you don't realize the power of it, because true power is gentle. It's not aggressive.
Right. I agree.
Like, Yoda was not in your face. Like, I never saw Yoda do one single high kick.
Right? But Yoda could rock your world with some profound, you know what I mean? He could check you with one sentence. You're like, oh, all right.
Yeah, and I mean, he lifted things without touching them, and it was, we've known, they've told us all, right? They laughed at us because they told us, and we were like, it's a dumb movie. We even quoted lines and we didn't follow it. But
the Force,
but
Miracle Girly, the Force. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
The Force
Absolutely.
is all around us. It's so real, and I think that's why it resonates with children, right? That's why children like Star Wars, because they know it's true. They know it's true. The Force.
Yep.
But it's perfect that you're doing this, because that show on Friday that I wanted to do, that Alara knows, with Alara on Friday on Storm Riders, is about energies. And one of the reasons I told Gino I didn't want to, Gino Revan, I didn't want to do a news show on Friday, because right now I don't think we need news. Right now I feel like it's the news that's throwing me off kilter and totally removing me from being grounded. It's the tragedy of it all. Like, they're trying to make you feel anger, hate, despair, sadness. It's all horrible. Not that we shouldn't know, but there's nothing. I go on Twitter now, I time myself, and even if I'm on it for 5 minutes, I feel totally dirty. Like, I feel literally dirty at the end of it. But so for Friday, what I wanted to do with Alara was talk about the power of prayer and actually pull up some good solid research and find some source to share with everybody. Like, look at these studies. And this is something I've done for years. Like, people will say something about prayer and I'll pull legitimate randomized controlled trial studies so that, am I still here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. And I'll pull legitimate, like, randomized controlled trial studies, because that's science, you guys. Like, they've made us hate science, but science never pretended to be a dictator. Science was making things repeatable and reproducible, and the exciting part of discovery. And there is nothing bad with science. It just made it so freaking dirty. But I've always pulled up these studies for years, for over 20 years. I've been doing this research, and I looked it up yesterday, and they're literally pulling papers on prayer off PubMed. And PubMed is, of course, run by the NIH. And if you search prayer right now on PubMed, you will find Islamic prayer as the top result. And that's the result. But before, you would find tons of stuff on prayer. And so why would they be pulling things on the power of prayer? Why? Unless it's real. And right now, that's where they don't want people to go. They don't want people to go to prayer. They don't want people to go to meditation. They don't want you to spend time with yourself. They just, like you guys said, they just want to distract you with the latest tragedy, because the world is lifting and it's evolving and it's growing and it's getting brighter, and it's harder and harder for them to live here. And they need to anchor that hate, and they have to anchor it now through us. No, thank you.
Right.
Not playing.
Very true. Great insights, Miracle Girly.
Yeah. Well, I know you've got 3 people on,
Yeah.
but that's my little spiel because it's a topic I enjoy so much, and we will talk more about it on Friday at 8:30
Yes,
Eastern.
8:30 p.m. 8:30 p. I have it written down now. Here, I don't mess up twice. That's one good thing. Okay, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Gino Revan's channel on the foxholepill.net and also on D Live. Apparently, we will be talking about meditation, prayer, and positive energy, as well as
and Schumann resonance.
The
just
Schumann resonance
everything
for a little bit of good measure. I actually got some good stuff on that. Well, I'm just not good at explaining the graph to people. That's what I have Lexus for.
I'm with you.
But yeah,
Right.
so definitely come and check out that show with Miracle Girly and Gino, 2 awesome individuals who I adore, and I can't wait to hang out with them on Friday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for calling
so much
in.
fun.
Much love, Miracle
Girly.
Thanks for
Girly.
having
Appreciate
me,
your
guys.
insights. Have an amazing, blessed day. All right. Well, some people can kick themselves out. So we got Pilled by the Rabbit, and then we'll be taking Gary Flessner, and then we'll be closing out the show, you guys. Pilled by the Rabbit, welcome to the Conspiracy Couch. How are you?
Oh, still connecting to
Still
audio.
connecting to audio here.
Right. We will be patiently awaiting your arrival, as Alara says.
Can you
Well,
hear me yet?
hello.
Yes.
I made it.
Hello, Pilled by the
So
Rabbit.
good
Nice
to
to
have
meet
you
you and
with
see
us.
your face.
I am so happy to be here on your couch.
Great. Oh, I love it. He even said on your couch.
Right on the couch.
All right.
Right. Exactly.
What
Yeah,
kind of wonderful
exactly.
insights do you have for us today on the human soul and consciousness?
On the human soul, well, I love the concept of the soul being different than spirit.
Right? I learned so much today.
Yeah, you really enlightened. And I don't really know why I called. Other than
That's okay.
I mostly just wanted to express great gratitude
Oh,
for what you
thank
do
you.
and let you know that I'm in the woo-woo camp.
Oh, wonderful.
All right. He wanted to let us
We
know
love-
he's down with the full woo.
Yes.
Mhm.
We love.
So, Alara, you were
love
up
the
at
woo.
ESETI.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, a lot of my awakening occurred there.
Really? Would you like to tell us about that?
I will. I'll
Okay.
share my experience.
Great.
So I was one of these guys just hopping around different rabbit holes. And Mandela effects really twisted up my mind bad.
Yes.
Especially one on the occurrence of the moon making different changes in timing.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Right.
bugged me crazy. It started when my rocks began to talk to me. So I'm a massage therapist and I like to do works with stones. Years back, somebody said, Scott, no, Rabbit. I'm sorry, but my name's Scott.
Right.
You'll see it on
We
my
won't
art.
tell anybody.
Yeah.
No, you'll see it on my art. It's like on my art and I'm passing it around. So anyway, my rocks, I was challenged to help my work. I was told, if you put your rocks out to do a full moon cleanse, you know, they'll work better. So I began to do that. And one day my rocks kind of let me know they wanted a particular pattern. I started to lay them out in a moon 28-day pattern. And that was going on. This was probably, 2017, just before the big eclipse that covered America. Okay. And as I'm working with my rocks, all of a sudden I realized they're not matching up anymore. And I pulled up Google and I asked a simple question. How many days between a full moon and the next full moon? And the Google lady said 31, and I freaked out. I thought it was supposed to be 28. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that really questioned my mind a lot. And I began to search, and I was listening to everybody I could listen to. I was listening to one of the radio hosts, Jimmy Church. And Jimmy Church talked about going to ESETI. It was a year before I went. And I was like, I need to go to ESETI. And one of the things he said is, don't just come up here for a Cinderella experience. Come up here and really try to connect. So it was, 2018, he decided to do a conference type thing up there, a thing called Soltech. And I thought, I'm going. I have to go. My people are there. Yeah. And I packed up my stuff and I drove up to ECETI, and I went early, and I signed up to be a volunteer to help get things ready.
Cool.
So I pulled in there, and I said, I'm here. And they're like, I'm like, where should I camp? And one of the options was, you might like it down there because that's where the juvenile Sasquatch like to play.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I'm like, okay. And it was a little far from everything else. And I thought, that's good. That'll be good for my fat butt. I'll be walking back and forth a lot. And I thought, this is going to be fun. I had a great big tent. Being a massage therapist and only having one big tent, I took 2 tables and I glammed. Well, like the first day I was there, this dog from down the street came into the ECETI area and just ripped the hell out of my door. So my front door on my tent was thrashed. Well, my third night there, which would have been a Sunday night, after talking to one of the cooks and a few other people that had been having a lot of fun talking to the Sasquatches, we went around and they were just kind of conjuring up and trying to communicate with Sasquatch. And that night we had done that. And I'm telling you, we didn't really hear them that night, but we got really close to where you just knew that Sasquatch was watching us. The hair on my arm was just standing straight up. Well, that night, about 3:33 a.m., as I'm sleeping there in my tent, which, by the way, had a beautiful view to the Field of Dreams. And I was laying there and I was hearing these strange sounding coyotes just hooping up all kinds of noise, and the hair on my arm was just standing straight up. And I finally said to myself, okay, just go ahead and look out your door and see what's going on. There was Sasquatch just cruising right in front of my door.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm telling you, you take one look at that critter and it changes your life.
Did it run away or
That's what I
did
hear.
it dematerialize?
No, it like did the classic pose. I couldn't really tell
The Bigfoot
exactly its size.
Yeah.
But it was like it was showing off its pose. Like, I'm going to burn this in your memory cells.
That's cool,
Which
man.
was good because after that, I didn't hear any more coyotes. But
Pill, give me just a second. Let me just thank a couple people in the chat real quick. Astro Kitten with the can. Oops, I lost it. Astro Kitten with the can. Much love. Thank you so much for your support, Astro Kitten. And the Grouch 79 coming with the cookie. No message and our Cloaked Unseen World. They're the only ones I missed with the cookie. That is actually going to be one of the things I talk about in a unique Train to Achieve Calmness. I think those are the only ones that I missed. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue, Pilled.
But other than Sasquatch running around, I'm now a grown man that, will say things like, I believe in fairies. And I had a lot of fun with orbs.
Yeah, orbs
Just photographing orbs. That was like, I really enjoyed that. But I'm just saying to anybody out there that wants to add an item to your bucket list, you should go to a place that is on 2 ley lines and has a very thin bell and enjoy the flashing mountain, enjoy the people that are there and connect with it. And it's probably not the only place around, but a few experiences in my life such as that really sent me down the rabbit holes. Hence, I'm Pilled by the Rabbit.
Pilled by the Rabbit. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. I am so glad that you called in and shared that with
Great
us.
story.
I love ECETI too. I haven't had Bigfoot experiences, but I've had some incredible ship experiences. I don't know if you heard me talk about this or how often you watch the show, but when I was there this last summer, we saw a whole fleet of ships in formation go over. Now, you know how you could sporadically see the ships, they come in and out and they phase in and out and they power up, right? They were coming in sporadically, popping in. There was a whole bunch of them. People were starting to gather on the field because there were so many ships coming in. And then all of a sudden, Cloaked was there. He could tell you. A whole fleet of ships in formation, in a triangular formation, cut across the middle of the other ships. It was wild. It was so wild. I'd never seen anything like that. It was the coolest thing. But, even at ECETI, an experience like that is kind of like, it's cool, but it's not like, you know, there's just, you see so many ships there. It's the coolest thing ever.
It's a weird concept, but after the first 2 nights, I was
You get used to them.
not watching ships anymore.
Yep.
Because they were basically there every night. I didn't have any of the fancy stuff. But I learned something really interesting is the people that had the good equipment and could, you know, see things, they would be looking at something that was not visible to the naked eye.
Right.
And then they'd all go, you know, they ask for a flare up. And you'd be looking in the direction they're looking, and all you'd see with the naked eye would be the little flash.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And
so much stuff up
like
there we can't see with the naked eye. So much. That's all over the place.
Yeah. But like the last night I was there in a van down by the river, we kind of put together a little group that we've done a lot of fun stuff with. But at the end of that kind of experience that we were having, we stepped outside, and which was nice because we were there in August. So there was actually a lot of meteorites. But I looked out in the sky and it was just twinkling with flare-ups.
Oh, that's so
Just
cool.
twinkling with flare-ups. And you just sit back, and I've experienced that a few times after that and had some, I felt like I brought a lot of E-SETI home with me is what I feel like I've done.
That's awesome. Thank you, Pilled, so much for calling in and sharing your experience.
Yes.
So glad we got to meet you.
Awesome story, indeed.
Yeah. Thank you. Really
Much
appreciate
love
Anyway.
to you.
Thanks for having me. And I just want to appreciate much gratitude and thanks and
Thank you.
blessings for you today.
Well,
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You have a blessed day. I'm going to let Gary
you.
in, and then we'll go ahead and close.
All right.
Bye, Pilled. Lovely meeting you.
Have a good day.
Well, he was awesome.
I know, right?
Right? He's so full of light.
Mm-hmm.
It gets me when I get around people like that. I get like drunk off of it, and they make, you know, it's it's intense.
Well, that's the
man.
thing. That's why you got to work on your own light so you can get everybody else.
See, that's the point. When you have carry a lot of light like that, do you see how I mean, do you see how it was affecting me, just his field being near me like that, even over the internet? This is what happens when you up your spiritual game. You start affecting people like that everywhere you go. And this is how this, you know, tidal wave of awakening and higher frequency vibrations on this planet take effect, you know? That was a prime example, just watching his effect on my field. Prime example of that. Gary Flessner, my bodyguard, welcome to the Conspiracy
Hello.
Couch.
Can you hear me, ladies?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How are you lovely ladies doing today?
Good. Great.
Well, I was late. Sorry. I had
No worries.
3 trips to the food bank today, giving people rides.
Oh.
On the 3rd ride, I only had 1 person with me. She gets in and she goes, "They put a bunch of shit in the back for you." I go, "I didn't sign up for nothing today." She goes, "They know what you like." So because I'm bringing all these people, I get home 10 pounds of hamburger, 10 cans of spaghetti sauce, 4 tubes of butter. They know I love
I'm
butter.
fasting right now, and you're completely ruining it for me, Gary.
4 bags of fresh grapes.
Oh.
Didn't
I love
even
grapes.
ask for it, and I came home with a haul.
Well, look at that.
All right.
Just
That's
because I gave
awesome.
people rides, they threw shit in the trunk anyway.
That's awesome, man.
But anyway, I want to bring up something. Earth is a living body. That's what I think.
Yes.
Has anybody noticed the ring of fire lately?
What's going on with the Ring of Fire lately?
Like the tectonic ring of fire?
Yes.
Yes.
Right now, 6 new underwater volcanoes.
Yeah. It's been kinda
5
wild.
5 new volcanoes are erupting at the time, more than ever in our time of
I
the
didn't know
U.S.
that.
Americas.
Yeah, we're seeing
Yes.
extremely increased tectonic activity,
2%.
not just in the Ring of Fire, but like just in
Across
general.
the planet.
Hmm.
The weather change, I think, has to do with what is happening there.
Yeah.
All this rain movement, all the
Mhm.
weather movement. The axis is wobbling 2% more than normal.
Right.
Well, the bad thing is, does that mean a flip? If it does, God's ready to start over again. That's what
Well,
I
I
think.
mean, you know, pole flip is going to happen at some point.
Uh-huh.
You know, it does that periodically throughout the history.
Well, there
of
are
the Earth.
arguments of how often it happens. but none of us were there for the last one, so nobody
Right.
really knows for
Exactly.
sure, you know.
And I know the
If
answers
you-
can't really be found out there. They come from up here and here. You know what I mean? But it's hard to always, you know. I'm reminding myself. A lot of times when I talk to you guys, I'm talking to myself. I'm reminding myself
yeah,
of things.
me too.
Yeah.
You know, just like how many times have we talked about the pyramids, and I've said anybody thinks Egyptians built that. Yeah, I got some shit food, I'll sell you, you know.
Right.
Because if you believe that, you'll buy anything. How old are they? How many civilizations has God started over on already?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going in the right direction? Or are we going in the wrong direction? Is he going to keep us? Or is he going to let us go? That's what I've been thinking some lately.
Well, I mean,
we're at a, what's that word? At an apophysis? Can't even say the word.
Well, crossroads.
it's harvest time.
Okay, a crossroads.
It's the harvest. It's the
time.
harvest.
Yeah,
It's harvest time.
I think people have a
You know?
different understanding of what the harvest is too. But you know, this isn't meant to sound as a depressant, guys. I think I kind of explained, or we did just go into the soul and the spiritual body and the light body and all that stuff. But I think, you know, I think on some level through this process, we do lose this physical body and we leave in our light body.
Yeah, it should be a time of joy to rejoin.
Everybody
else. Is this a calling or is this you fucked up?
Well, I mean, I think
if
humanity
you're awake,
as
you're
a
on the
whole
right
now is kind of but there's a
I
lot
think
of
the good, I think
a lot
the
of
good
people
souls
that are
will be saved.
well, yeah.
You know, but is it to the point where there ain't enough of us and God's mad again? Or is there going to be enough of us, he lets us continue? Or is there enough of us that he just say, come on, and I'm going to blow the rest of you up again?
Well, I think
the 3D beings decide what happens to them through their own conscious. I think the people that are staying on that level, that I don't know. What do you? Say?
I personally think I have never been more aware of anything going on than I have right now.
Yeah.
Gary, I think that if you are lucky enough to be in the Lord's harvest, there will be no sadness. You won't be worried about what's happening here.
No sadness for me, but I'll be sad for other people I know that
will you though
make it.
No, that's natural. It's part of having compassion.
I'm that caring person, man. I'm sorry. I want to drag everybody under the bus.
But what I'm saying is you will be rejoining your concerns. I think your concerns will no longer be of this world.
Well, you know, there's so many different things that could be true. Are we just at a temporary point in our existence? Are we here for our short trip before we move on to the next trip? Is the next trip the final trip? Or do we move on to the next step of heading to see God? You know, and the argument of a living planet, is this the only living planet in the whole universe? Is that why all the aliens come and visit us?
Those are great questions.
You know, Gary likes to come on and answer to and ask 20, you know?
Yep.
I want people to think all the time. Never stop thinking, even on a bad day. If you're having a bad day, stop and think out something. By the time you figure it out, you go, God, I didn't have such a bad day after all, you know? As long as you're putting yourself forward, I think you improve yourself even for the day.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know, that's why I like coming on here. I never leave the show not thinking I didn't learn something and maybe I didn't teach somebody something.
Amen.
And if you can do that once a day,
yeah,
you're a better person.
Were you here for the beginning of the show? What time?
No, I
gotta go back and watch the beginning. Good stuff.
I will, because it looked like it was really good, because I was on my way back with my last passenger to the food bank. And it took longer today than I thought, because I ended up with a third run. Usually I take 2 and 2. Today I took 2, 2 and 1. So
God love you for doing that.
Well, these guys don't have cars. You can't carry all this shit back on a bus.
Right.
Right.
Monday is the best day to go because they're loaded up with everything, because the food bank drops off all their shit on Monday morning. So if you want to get a good haul, you go on Monday. And it's this church place. They have clothes. You walk in, you ain't got no money. They don't make you pay for shit. All they do is serve people.
Right.
You know, and Sue is real good friends with them there. She goes and helps them out sometime. And a quick story. Talk about family being fucked up. Her son, while she's in bed, walks out of her apartment with her TV to sell it for you know what. And I've been telling her, I don't care that he's your son. He does something stupid again. You need to disown his ass. And she finally listened to me. She picked up the phone. My son walked off with my TV. They go, that's theft. We'll be right over.
Right.
They called him, went and found him, said, you've got 2 hours. That TV's back on the shelf or you're busted for burglary. Well, I told him I took it. Well, your buddy was with you. We got video camera from the place. You both walking out with it. So you're both getting arrested. That guy went Zulu then. I didn't steal nothing. He's the one that got it. Did you help carry it out? Yeah, well, you're going to jail too. She finally took the key away from him and told him not to come back.
Sometimes you got to love people from afar, especially when they're in the midst of their own mess.
It's the same basic principle of when you start loving you, you do not let other people abuse you anymore. You don't let it because you love yourself too much to allow others to abuse you.
He's one of them gamer nuts, you know. He took the TV so they could game somewhere else.
Right.
She can't afford another TV. She had to buy it from a pawn shop. That's the only way she could get one. His mother feeds him, lets him stay there. He makes good money of doing illegal shit, you know.
Right.
And then he steals her TV. He should be helping her out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How many times did she wipe his ass? How many times did she put him in diapers? How many times did she feed him? I'm sorry, you wouldn't got to where you are if she wouldn't have helped you when you were younger.
I have a relative similar situation, and I've had to let go. You know, I can't be around. So I don't care if you're my blood or not. If you're you know, you're serving the negative energies, and you're not. You know what I mean? I can't have you in my life. And it doesn't matter whether you're my blood or not. That's just what it is.
My sister's a Democrat, liberal, not a Democrat, liberal. And me and her love each other. We've learned don't talk politics. My brother's a Republican, and I won't speak to his ass because he's a dipshit. I spent hours trying to convince him not to get the shot. And then he not only talked, he talked his kids into getting the shot. I go, good. When y'all die, you don't leave me your your $750,000 home, asshole. I don't want it.
So, Gary, do you have a thought or a comment, kind of in closing, about the human soul and consciousness?
I think I think they're not one, but yet they're not one, but they're not the same, but they are the same. You need one for the other and the other for the other. You know what I'm saying? I think you could be conscious but still lose your soul. You may not be conscious, but you still may be saved because of your soul.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you could be a believer, but maybe not really totally be conscious.
Right.
Or aware.
That's a good point.
But you have enough love in your heart that God's going to take you.
Well, what he just said, you see how it lines up with the Egyptian about having enough love in your heart? How you're weighed on, the Egyptian belief system says exactly that.
They weigh it against a feather.
They weigh it against a feather to see how much love you have in your heart, and that's what determines whether you move on or you know.
Well, that's just like yesterday in the chat on one of the shows, people are going, oh, they're Muslims. They all want to kill Christians. That's not true. Muslims have 10% that want to kill us, just like the United States, 10% is the deep state, and they want to kill us.
Right.
I agree.
I have Muslim friends I pray with.
Yeah.
They've never wanted to kill me or anybody else. They just want to live in peace.
Right.
Yeah.
I know lots of Muslims that feel that way. The problem is you get one nut like AOC up there and you think they're all like that, and they're not.
Right.
It's not about one particular religion or culture or anything. It's about good versus evil. Just having, like you just talked about with the heart. Your heart is either full of love and tolerance and or it's not, you know?
The Egyptians and the Muslims and the Christians in Syria lived next to each other in the same city for years, and they ended up running them all off.
Right.
You know, the Kurds are mostly Christians. Yeah, they had their little spats, but they pretty much just stayed to themselves, you know. There's a lot of Christians in Iran.
Yeah.
Oh, 90% of the people in Iran would like to do this to their government just like we would.
Right.
They aren't happy.
I lived in Jordan as a very loud-mouthed American woman, and nobody tried to kill me.
You know,
you're lucky, Foil.
Yeah, right.
Because I know how you are. I can't believe you made it out of Jordan.
I got this.
My family
big,
said the same thing.
I got this big wooden chopboard next to me that I use as a coffee table. Did you hear that? I was knocking on it. You were lucky.
Right? I know, right?
She made it out, and this was low vibe Foil. This was not.
This was OG gangster Foil.
It doesn't matter. There's 100 there that love you. It only takes the one that hates you to kill you.
It was some ruckus, but
true. Well, Gary,
you know, I mean, just
final thought before we close out.
My final thought is, I found a home here. I enjoy being here. It's given me a reason to keep going. I seriously think I'd probably be dead. All the prayer has got me to the right doctors. I got not one, but two doctors that actually want to help me for once. Not one, but two doctors that actually handed me a note saying he doesn't need the virus, the vax, it'll kill him if he gets it. And in your ear, they go and look over the shoulder. It's all fake, Gary. It's all fake. There ain't one fucking patient in this hospital with COVID. And we're at a hospital that serves a couple million people.
Yeah.
It's in Champaign, Illinois, central Illinois. It takes care of like 8 counties. And there's not one there. What does that tell you? You know, and that you have this, what's it called? Intensive care units are all full, but they won't let you go look. And if you're on the lower floors and you say, oh, I hear intensive care is all full, and then you hear these nurses in the background laughing their ass off, you know, because they know the truth.
Gary, you sound like a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, what?
Total tinfoil hat, man.
Oh. Why would you call me one of them? Because I am.
I'm going to release the scratching out there for everybody over there on the foxhole right now. So it looks like your lotto is released. You can go ahead and pick that up. I wanted to do
Funny
it while
how
I was thinking about
80% of my conspiracy theory shit has come true so far.
Right? I always say it all the time. They're all true. I'm going to go ahead and release the lemons over there on D Live too. Thank you so much, Gary, for calling in. Really appreciate it. Always good to connect with you, and I'm glad you're out there helping people, giving them rides.
Next time I call in, I'll have on my brand new Alienware, lights up and flashes when I speak. Very expensive.
Nice
headset that fit over my ears, and with a mic that works because gamers want their shit to work.
Yes.
The problem is it's taken me 22 days to get them, because they had to make them, and I'm so pissed. I called the other day. They're giving me another $30 off of them.
Ooh.
Always call and bitch. They'll give you.
They'll give you. Yeah.
Don't leave mad.
That's my problem. I never
I've
bitch.
gotten them to give off these now.
I don't bitch enough. That's clearly my problem in life.
Well, you got to know how to act like you're mad, even when you're not mad. It depends on who's on the other end of the phone.
Right.
Love you, girls.
Thank you, Gary.
Much love to you.
See y'all later.
Have a wonderful day, my friend.
You too, pals.
All right. Always a pleasure. Boys, great callers today. It's a great show. Great topic.
Show.
Lots of information. Alara learns stuff. She always loves when she learns stuff. This is a fantastic show, I think. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Everybody's got their pills out there. They got their lemons. So as far as shows go, like I had brought up earlier, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Gino Revan's channel, we'll be doing energy meditation, Schumann resonance. That's going to be lots of fun on Friday. Also, Suki has her own channel here on the Foxhole now. She was over on Method Show yesterday and kind of did her big debut. Really excited for Suki. She's going to be having her first show today at 7:30 p.m. Eastern over on the Foxhole. Yeah, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I believe she's going to be on with I Find It. So I Find It's awesome. That should be a really funny, great, wonderful conversation. Sure to be good vibes over there, you guys. So go and show Suki some love on her premiere show today at 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, please do.
Over on the Foxhole. And let's see, Foil will be on tomorrow, Tuesday. At what time, Foil?
7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern. She's not sure what she's doing yet.
Doing something.
Doing something. Yeah. So Foil will be on tomorrow.
It'll be great. Whatever it is, it'll be fun, I'm sure.
I will be on with Methods from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, as usual, on Wednesday for Methods to Madness. That's always a great time. Love talking to everybody, connecting with everybody, and doing that. Also, let you guys know the new podcast that Methods started with I Find It. It's over on the Foxhole now. You can find it not just on SoundCloud and Spotify and the other places, but you can actually find the channel itself over on the Foxhole now, and you can listen to it. So You Must Be Lost. It's just got the capital letters Y, You Must Be, and then T, right? I had to spell that out in my head. But anyway, yeah. So it's over on the Foxhole now. You can actually go over there and chill and listen to it. And the new episodes come out every Sunday. So go and check that out. Those two guys' conversations are awesome. All right. So other than that, I think that's all the shows. You got Conspiracy Theory Trivia on Friday, correct, Foil? At what time?
8 Eastern. Sorry, my 2% is faltering.
Cool. I'm trying to pick up the slack there, Fran. I feel you.
Thank you. Thank you for the cookie, Sean Joe.
Thank you for the cookie, Sean Joe. Did we miss any other?
I've been thanking them in the chat. If we have, let me scroll up and see.
I think we missed Mama Bear with the cookie. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for your support, Mama Bear. Let's see. I'm trying to find if I missed anyone else because I know we were chatting there for a minute, not looking over at the screen. But I am not seeing anyone else that I missed. Thank you guys for all your love, all your support, all your positive energy.
Stevis66, I did tell you thank you, but thank you for the cookie. Much love.
Yeah, and I think we got the other ones. I think we're good to go on that. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody, today. Great conversation, great show. Look forward to seeing all, maybe a percentage, not 2%, much more than 2%, like Foil's brain today. Here on the other shows throughout the week. It's been great hanging out with you guys. Much love. Everybody have a wonderful, blessed day.